Well, hello. Let me just stop this other video. And welcome. Welcome to another live stream. I'm trying to do these once a month, and so it looked really good on the preview, but now I look really red, but we'll just go with it. So glad to have everybody here. I have up to 18 people. I tried an experiment this time. I decided to open with a little music and some driving footage while I got everything set up. You have to let me know what you think. I think it'll be annoying for everybody who watches the replay of the live stream because they have to sit through 6 minutes of that, but we'll live. So I see a lot of people here. I greeted some of you. Some people I didn't. So I've got Werner van der Westhuizen from South Africa. Welcome. Susan Staus. Glad to have you here from Central Indiana. Stephen Finan. Also from, if I remember right, Stefan Finan is not from the Netherlands. If I'm remembering right, you're from Germany, but I see all the countries really close together there. Alan Price, also from Indiana. Glad to have you. We've actually spoken once or twice. Oops, that's from me. Well, one of the good things going for us with our rural roads is we don't usually have as much rain, and actually they do a very good job now with gravel, so and crowning the road so that the rain just runs off. Glad you enjoyed the scenery. It's I live in scenic part of North Dakota. Welcome from Adelaide, South Australia. I do know where that is. So fun fact, some of you may have seen this on my post, but I'm just going to mention it anyway. I was watching a video by some, actually he's a geography teacher at a high school somewhere. He was talking about the least populated part of every state. So I lived sandwiched between the least populated part of South Dakota and the least populated part of North Dakota. So I guess that makes me the city. I don't know. Let's see, we've got David Anderson. Yeah, I'm hoping they don't interrupt me. I had somebody I know today asked me, he apparently misunderstood what happened and thought one of my neighbors was upset with me. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think you were from the Netherlands, but anyway, so I'm glad everybody's here. I wrote down some topics. Most of them you saw in the title of the live stream, but just in case I forget, that's why I keep my list here, because who knows what could happen on a live stream. This week I was actually with Hemingway Jones on his live stream. So if you didn't catch that, head over to Hemingway Jones' channel. We did about an hour, and that's about what I want to do today. Is about an hour of this. It was interesting. I haven't done that in a few years. The last time I did a live stream with somebody was with Pierre Gustafson. Actually, fun fact, I got to meet Pierre Gustafson in person. I stayed at, well, not his place, but his family's place for a week in Minneapolis, and got to meet both of his brothers, go sailing, and a lot of neat experiences. So he's so far one of two pen people I've met live. The other one, of course, is the Moto Lisa, who mostly does Instagram, but she's a North Dakota pen person. So as Alan Perez points out, I should point this out to everybody. When I say city, when I say the city of Rame or the city of Antler or something, every spot that's incorporated in North Dakota is called a city, whether it's Antler with its 20-some people or whether it's Fargo with its 200 and some thousand people. Everything is a city. The only way they're not a city is if they're not incorporated. So worth pointing out. But yeah, I'd say my little town of 1,500 people is the big city for the people in the surrounding areas, because where are you going to come to shop or go do your medical things? Yeah, because we have a hospital, clinic, not an amazing main street, but we have a main street, so we have stuff. And TJ Archivist, Don't forget to like this. Yeah, I never ask people to like my videos. I figure if you do, you will. But I started, it used to not be a habit of mine, but I started just hitting the like button if I liked the video or if I wanted to support the channel. I guess it helps the algorithm. There's some kind of an algorithm that goes with recommending videos. So, hey, feel free to hit the like button. And by the way, I'm curious how my sound is. Trying an experiment. I watched my video with Hemingway Jones and I went, yee, my sound is really, really bad. And I used the camera, which I can't show you because, I'm on it and I can't show the camera because it's showing me. And yeah, but there's a camera I use for my live streaming. And I used that with my interview with Hemingway Jones. And I watched the replay and I thought, oh, that's really loud. And then I think he needed to turn his gain up a little bit also. So between the two of us, it was me like screaming and him very quiet. So I'm trying to use my Yeti mic and hoping that's working. I've done some live streaming where it's like watching a dubbed movie where my lips are moving and then the sound happens later. So we'll see. So Michigan is representing. Welcome, Marie. Antler sounds like grape. Yeah, Antler, I used to live near Antler. It's a very small town right on the Canadian border. Actually, fun little story about Antler. This has been many, many, many years ago. But there was a woman, an older woman, whose mother, who was a mother, an older woman who disappeared. And her kids were frantic. I think it was Chicago where she disappeared. Somewhere, it was a big city in the Midwest anyway. And she disappeared and her family were absolutely frantic and they couldn't find her. And then they got a call from the border station in Antler, North Dakota, which if you ever look up where Antler is, you're going to be going, what? So she showed up at the Antler border station and they started talking to her. And the border agent said, oh, something about her is off. And so they did some checking and ended up calling her family. And as it turned out, she'd been driving. And while she was driving, she had a stroke. And she just kept driving and driving until she ended up in Antler, North Dakota, of all places. And so the border agents there took care of her until her family could get there and take her home. But I've always thought that was just a nice story. Obviously it would have been the Canadian border agents, but scary. I'll be careful here because I have, but I do have older parents, and it's one of those things I think about because I don't live near them, and I like to think that people will take care of them if something like that ever did happen. So we got Marie says the sound is good. Sounds okay. Everybody's saying the sound is good, so thank you. I worry about that. I can't hear myself, so I'll be curious in the replay if the music replays. Oh, we've got Greece. Welcome. Sound is good. Thank you. And we're hearing that. All right. So, okay, you just messed with my head because I know where you normally live. So you must be on a business trip, Sajad Hussein. Yeah, I'd love to visit. Well, there's a lot of places. So should I just list all the places I want to visit? But yeah, Munich, Germany is on the list. And New Jersey. Yeah, my father is from, I'm not sure if I should give the name of the city exactly. I mean, he hasn't lived there in, 70 years or so, maybe 60 years. Let's give him a little credit. But let's just say where he used to be able to see, well, they didn't have the Twin Towers back when he lived there, but he could see the Empire State Building from near there where he would go duck hunting. So that gives you kind of the general area where he grew up. I do know the name of the town, but like I said, we'll respect a little privacy. Good to hear the audio is good. And welcome, Glenn Kelly. Okay, I wasn't sure if I should mention where you were from, but I guess if you're putting it out there. Yeah, so when you said Munich, Germany, I had a moment of, what? Wait, what? But obviously you're traveling for work. So I was traveling yesterday. One of the things I've got here to show you, which was not on my list, is I found a very cool book at a bookstore that I stopped at. That's a used bookstore, so I'm looking forward to sharing that. Um, so you'll have to let me know, both people that joined in and those who watch this in the future, what do you think of me opening early, but with streaming a road in North Dakota? So I don't actually know the name of the road, but it's near Logging Camp Ranch, which is a place where you can rent a cabin. I'm going to put it out there. I taught the youngest daughter of the family that runs Logging Camp Ranch. So got a little personal connection there. Also, trying to remember, I think I was not paying attention to the driving, but I think we went through part of the where there was a forest fire, but it's getting so you can't really tell there was a forest fire there. And yeah, did you know we have forests in North Dakota? I live near one of them. There's a forest, well, there's an experimental forest, but there's forests near Botno, North Dakota, which I've used some of that in my driving video, not my driving videos, my pens and use. There's forest near Walhalla, North Dakota. I think there's one more that I'm just forgetting. That'll come to me as soon as I end this live stream. But anyway, glad to see everybody here. So my topics I'd written down, I wanted to talk a little bit about pen buying, home heating. You might have heard my furnace just kick on for a minute there. Dash cams and spontaneity versus planning, which was one of my things when I rewatched my interview with Hemingway Jones. I thought, ooh, I didn't quite say that the way I meant to say it. So, yeah. And ODE says it's a good idea to start the video with that kind of intro. So thank you. Yeah, I'm always awkward. I start these live streams and I see, oh, I got one viewer. Great. And so I just decided this time I will start it. The two pieces of music together added up to a little better than 6 minutes. So I thought, well, we'll start it running 6 minutes before I'm scheduled to come on, and then I can come on at the correct time. And I learned how to switch between a prepared video and Badlands Pen Club, my live stream. And at some point, I'd really love to have somebody on here. I've learned that I can apparently share a link and get people to join in. Pierre Gustafson actually forgot to put up the new comment. Pierre Gustafson actually taught me a lot about StreamYard because I'd never heard of it till him, and it's a very nice free service if you don't mind a little bit lower resolution and so on. It's a nice, has a lot of features that the regular YouTube live streaming does not offer. Let's just say that. So anyway, I'm glad to see everybody here. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the pen buying part of this. I'm at a very exciting point in my life. This spring, I'm going to have my house paid off. So today, you are going to see a pen that I purchased. I'm not going to call it a new pen because it's not a new pen, but it's new to me. If you watched the Hemingway Jones interview, I did briefly show it, so you'll get to see it a little bit closer today. So excited about that. That was my big pen purchase. I realized whenever it was this summer that, hey, I am soon going to have it paid off, probably May or June. I don't have it exactly worked out. Things happen. Okay, Alan Parais likes I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Audio is a little fuzzy. Okay, might be the El Cheapo. So yeah, I will actually be listening to this afterwards. I always rewatch my videos, especially live streams, just to see, ooh, yeah, you could do that better. Like, hey, look at the camera from time to time, those little things. It was very hard talking to Hemingway Jones because I want to look down here at my computer, so I'm looking at him in the eyes, but I'm actually not talking to him. I'm talking to all of you, so I had to look up and look into my camera like I'm doing now. And that's just a hard instinct that when I started doing videos, it was very hard to remind myself, look at the camera, look at the camera, look at the camera. Even though I want to look, do I look okay? Is my hair messed up? Is there a thingy hanging between my teeth? I don't know. But I do have to look down to click on the comments. So yes, I am very excited about it. I guess this isn't giving too much personal information away, but getting this house paid off means I'm going to get about a $600 a month raise. So yeah, now you know my house payment. Okay, rural North Dakota, the houses, while they're overpriced in this town, house prices in this town, when I say overpriced, are like, wow, that's cheap in a lot of places in the United States. So yeah, I am very excited to have this paid off. Yeah, it will be a good feeling. I'm There's a part of me that would like to just write the check right now, but I want that. I'm trying to save some money for I got to do a home renovation project, basically a new roof. So we'll just wait on paying it off completely. So Paris, is that correct? See, I talked to you in person, and I don't remember actually asking you. And since then, I've just been making it up. So thank you, Paris or Paris. I'm going to go with Paris unless you correct me. Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So as far as pen buying, I haven't done much, but I've done a little. Where'd it go? Mostly cheapos. I did buy one expensive one, and I'll show you this under the camera here, where it's a little bit better lit. But this Aurora Optima from the 1990s. I'm very excited about it. Writes very well. A little bit different nib than the modern Aurora pens, so kind of a fun pen. As far as anything else, mostly it's been low cost stuff. I've got a low cost cross I picked up somewhere. Oh, oops, an empty box. I've got some fun pens that were sent to me by a viewer. This one I'm really excited to share. Yeah, okay. So this here, okay, we'll just do it this way. This is a, okay. I'm sorry, I'm aging. So this is well, it's a Schaefer anyway. I can't see a brand name on it, but it's an oversized something or other. So I'm very excited to share this one. I also have a pen that I've shared before, but I think is worth sharing again because this one's actually intact. All these Parker dual folds that I've shared, or victories, have been missing the cap finial. So this one actually has one. And apparently the Parker's missing the little squeezer doodle. So I will be sharing those real soon. Anything else exciting? What's in this box? Oh, yeah. So this is an old pen that I was given actually by my sister-in-law. This is a Linden. I need to get that filmed. But anyway, very excited to share this one also. This comes from her grandmother's house. So fun fact, I can't really see the pens closely unless I'm wearing these, but reading you on the screen, you're just far enough away that if I put these on, I can't read you. So there's going to be a lot of this switching back and forth. I was when I did my Bismarck trip yesterday, I spent some time in a restaurant, and every time the waitress talked, because I brought a book along or I had to read the menu and whatever, but every time I talked to the waitress, I had to take these off. And I just thought to myself, I bet she thinks I'm embarrassed to be wearing reading glasses. The truth is, I could not see her when I wear these, but I could see, but I couldn't read the menu or the book I had with me. So, there you go. Yes, the Optima is very pretty. I'm looking forward to giving you a close up, and I might have to do a real recorded video with it just to give you the proper appreciation for its color. Yeah, the 1990s. I mean, that's when I graduated high school, is in the 1990s. So I don't think of it as that long ago. But then every single one of my students has been born in the new century. I don't have students anymore from the 90s. None of my students have ever lived the 20th century. So if I don't know what that means, but I know I mentioned I was talking to somebody from Oregon today, and I mentioned that, yeah, I've got several former students who are now my colleagues at the school where I teach. And she says, well, you know what that means? It means you're officially old. I don't feel old. remember my grandparents, even my parents complaining about aches and pains. And once in a while you get one, you wake up, you're kind of stiff. For a while there, it started this year, and I'm blaming the shoes. I was in a lot of pain actually, but you know, as I've adjusted to the shoes, that's ended. But I don't feel old. So, when do you start actually thinking of yourself as old? I guess I'm not there yet. Uh, yeah, cheap is good. Yes, I did. I have thought about it for months. I've seen it, and I decided, I've been not spending my YouTube income because of this upcoming roof thing, and because of this whole paying the house off soon thing. And I just thought, feel extravagant spending that, but I finally talked myself into it. Yeah, you're right. So you caught me. I don't see them laying here. They must be over at the couch. But so last year in the spring, I was talking to one of my colleagues. She is now retired. So, as you can guess, she's older than me. But retired colleague of mine who taught VOAG, which meant she ran the shop at our school. And I was mentioning about how I was really struggling helping some students with a project we were doing in STEM, and putting resistors into the right holes and on a robot and so on. And she showed me these amazing safety glasses, and they're this as kind of a bifocal, and then the rest of it is clear. So right now my high school STEM is doing more computer stuff because we're doing 3D design, but my junior high STEM is doing electronics. And it is amazing wearing those glasses because I can see what they're doing and yet see normal when I look up. So yes, I do have a pair of bifocals, two pairs. One I keep here at home that usually sits here so I can work on pens here, and then the other pair, of course, at school. So I did a lot of cleaning in the living room, so I've got the feeling they're moved somewhere. I'm not seeing them, but anyway, yes, you're right. Bifocals are good for that. Yeah, I think you'll see the Optima this week, and then I want to do some of the others soon because I need to do more first impressions. I've been doing a lot of let's revisit this pen I bought in the past so I don't have to spend any more money type of thing. Okay, I say have to. Somebody chooses to spend that money because that's my thing. Other people are like, why would you spend that much money when you could buy a brand new snowmobile? I'd rather buy the pen. That's me. What nib in the Optima? So I'll give you a close up, and let me put these on again because, like I said, that whole reading thing. So this is a medium nib. It's 14 karat, whereas nowadays most of the Aurora nibs are 18 karat. So, it's a little bit bouncier than their typical 18 karat nibs. Not as much as their modern flex nib. So I think it's time for me to drop the camera down and let's look at a few pens. Let's rearrange here so I don't knock something over while I do that. You don't see this very often, but I'm actually working in a very tight amount of space. So I'm going to show you a different notebook too, just for fun. Not really a notebook, but it's what we're going to use. So turn it on its side. Yeah, Sajad Hussein is correct. And I just screwed up. There we go. Forgot what I was doing here. So this isn't the best paper, but it's got a few interesting traits, which I think you'll appreciate as I start to write. And yeah, this isn't going to be the best lighting experience because, it's not the best camera. All right, so what I have here, this is the Aurora Optima. If you watch Hemingway Jones talk about this pen, his has a black cap because they did release a modern version that has a black cap. This is from the 1990s, which means it's not old, but it is what it is. Yeah, Sajad Hussein apparently has followed this pen on ProtoPen, so he knows. So anybody who was thinking about it like I was for many months, I ruined it for you. Okay, I gotta get this close to my face. Oh, it's upside down. Okay, it says on it, Fabbriche Italiana, un penne a serratoio. I have no flipping clue what that means. Anyway, it's the old Solo Mio finish. So we got here a special number. So this is number 1648. We have Aurora. I think this is cool. This cap band, just cool. And somewhere on it, I would swear it says old Solo Mio, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, and there's a little starburst at the top of the sunburst at the top of the clip. Yes, O Solo Mio, you're correct. All right, so let's see how it writes. Actually, let's not see how it writes because I just remembered I wrote it dry of Parker Quink washable blue. So let's put something fall themed in it. And I thought about this before the video so I wouldn't have to scramble. This isn't one of the inks I'm trying to use up right now, but it seems appropriate to the season. So this is Diamine Autumn Oak. Yeah, I have no Optimas, and I've been curious about the model. I just haven't talked myself into one, so that's how I ended up buying this one. So I like it. I don't know. I feel like I like the Aurora 88 more, but I wonder how much of that is sentimental just because the Aurora 88, I really, 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 really like their vintage model. So I just feel like I need a little more time to do an objective decision. Down the road, at some point, I'd like to do a rodeo where I compare the 88 to the Optima, but I just don't think I'm quite there yet. Thank you. That helps because I would guess the reservoir means what it's filled with. So let's see how this goes. So this is the Aurora Optima. We'll have to talk about this paper. It allows some bleeding, as you can see from the previous page, but it also shows the shading really well. So this is a medium, and it has diamine. That's not railroading, by the way. I'm not quite 100% sure how that happened. Autumn Oak. OAK, not OOK, because OOK would be ook. So my parents recently sent me a picture. It was of an old sawmill. So in Pennsylvania, a lot of the sawmills, they would float the logs to them, and then they'd pick them. Then they'd have a pond at the sawmill. They'd pick the logs out of the pond and then saw them there. And so this old sawmill has a lake that's full of orange leaves. It's one of those things that you just think, oh, that's one of the pretty things of Pennsylvania. So of course I had to look up where the least populated in that same video I was mentioning earlier. The same, where's the least populated part of Pennsylvania? And turns out it's a place called Wharton, and I forgot the name of the other town, but Wharton was the one I knew. The other one is just what I'd seen on a map, but I don't think I've ever been through. But it's near a place called Cinnamahoning. Let's see if I spell this right. Yeah, it could be the shape why I like it better. So Cinnamahoning. It's just a really beautiful part of Pennsylvania. There's a Quehanna Wildlife Refuge there. A very nice drive up it. It's steep, it's winding, it's forested. There's the water there. Just really beautiful. And watching that video, he had just a couple of photos of the area, and I just thought, oh, it's so pretty. But it's pretty where I live too, just in a different way. Okay, I think I had that comment up earlier. Yeah, autumn oak is just pretty. That looks like autumn to me. I think, I know I'm not through all my oranges yet, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the winner of that battle. Oh, congratulations. Yes, I think you'll like it. Alrighty. So, yeah, that was my one big pen purchase. I wanted to mention about this paper. It's called a Free Cut Memo Tidbit. And then they show pictures like this on it. Oops, let's hide this comment here for a second. No, nothing on the back. And you might be thinking, well, what do you do with it? So this paper, here's a blank one. So we'll just take the blank one here. This paper is made into tiny little square sections. So you can do things like this. So then I can, stand up a sign. I'm not sure if there's any meaning to that. But yeah, or you can tear it into smaller pieces and do whatever with them. I'm not 100% sure what the mindset is behind this paper, but I bought a tablet and it sits on my desk here. Alrighty, so yeah, the shading is what makes that ink work. Let's give you something to look at, as you can see. And so I guess I misunderstood early. I did misunderstand earlier. I have to get out my bottle, not I'm getting a bottle. Thank you. Yeah, rarely use it. I have absolutely no idea what you mean by Eagles, Mare, and Sullivan. Sullivan County, Pennsylvania? Just totally not catching that reference. I'm sorry. I just was going to mention another ink because I wrote my list with it. I'm using up my Califolio Violet right now. So I have several violet inks. So let's put it here. So this pen has one of those really cool vintage Bach nibs. And that's Califolio Violet. Great value purchase and a writer's pen. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of on the fence of do I like the Aurora 88 better? And I think I need a little more time to decide. But yeah, and when I compare the Proto Pen's price to what I could have paid for a new one, no question. Oh, smallest place in Pennsylvania. Okay. I probably should have known that because I lived in Pennsylvania for 22 years, but I was also a kid and my parents traveled, but actually when they would travel, it was usually just somewhere out of state. They like to go to the Adirondacks in New York State, and we go up to Canada. There's actually, since I've left the state, several places in Pennsylvania I've discovered that, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like the Altoona Horseshoe. Looks like a really cool place. Or Falling Water, Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water. I'd really like to visit that. And I actually went to college near to it. So yeah, a few places I'd really like to visit next time I'm in Pennsylvania. I may not see much of my parents. I don't know. But anyway, so those are my big writing things. I'll just show you, but I don't have much to say about it. I don't want to ink it up today. Let's lift the camera up because whoops. I don't know what you're looking at right now. I poked a button by accident. Holy cow, what button did I poke? Sorry, this is what happens when you watch live. All right. So apparently there's a button that changes color I did not quite realize was there. So Hemingway Jones did a video. Oh yeah, Williamsport. I used to have family that lived near Williamsport. My parents go there, I won't say often, but occasionally. So Hemingway Jones talked about when I did his interview with me, he talked about a mysterious pen from Esterbrook. This isn't it. Um, but it was an Esterbrook J, just like this. Or no, Esterbrook Esty. But the one he had apparently is a newer version. It's stealth because it's all black and you can get a piston in it. Mine is not. Mine does have an adapter I can put on it to use vintage Esterbrook nibs. So Esterbrook was kind of a fun company. They had a gazillion different nibs and pretty low cost pens like this one. So this is a 1960s Esterbrook. Esterbrook Esty. No, Esterbrook J. I apologize. I'm confusing my pens. This is another Esterbrook J. This pen is a transitional model. So fun little story about this pen. I used to live in a little town, actually near Antler, North Dakota. And in Antler, in the town I lived in, there's an older lady. I met her and her husband, but her husband died soon after I moved there. They used to own the pharmacy in town, back when there was a pharmacy, because small town North Dakota businesses been dropping left and right, especially back then. But anyway, after she died, her kids went through her stuff and found this old fountain pen, and they thought of me instantly because I was friendly with her when she would go places. I'd take care of her dog. She had a sweet little Cocker Spaniel named Honey. I'm not somebody who wants a pet, but I really do enjoy other people's pets. So it was kind of fun taking care of Honey, knowing that it wasn't forever. And then this pen, it's an Esterbrook, but it's a smaller one. I want to say SJ. And I've reviewed all of these, of course. And then this is an Esterbrook, I think C. It's a really small one, but it's hiding behind Alan Paris's comment. So a little overexposed. It's actually yellow, but with this camera, I don't have a lot of control. But anyway, where was I? The chameleon pen. Oh, I figured out what you're talking about. Yes, the rapid changing of color. So yeah, apparently there's a button here that changes color. I don't know what I'd ever do with it, but it's a thing. And yeah, I do want to do both of those things. So that's the one Hemingway Jones reviewed. And yeah, they're not the same, but at the same time, I think Esterbrook is responding to the modern aesthetic. And I do like that they have the adapter so you can use the vintage nibs in it. So they're thinking. But yeah, those vintage ones, not expensive pens in their day, but there were hundreds of nibs, and I'm not exaggerating, and they just screw out. You don't like this nib? We'll just snork it out. Get a different one. This is a 9048, whatever that is. I kind of like their stub nibs. I've used their flex nibs, but I don't care for them. So, just a really nice pen, and it makes you think. Esterbrook, of course, let's go out of business. I think Parker bought them and made cheap pens for a while, and then coming back to business decades later. Whereas other companies have been in business for years, and the transitions aren't as obvious. People always think this doesn't look like this, which you're right. There's 1950s on versus 2020 something. We're talking a gap here of maybe 70 years. They're going to be different. We've learned things. Things have changed. Esterbrook made a lot of pens. It's definitely worth looking at. I don't know all of the models you're saying, but you're right. They are reborn very different. Sometimes it's successful. If you tour my channel, somewhere there's another Esterbrook that I did not like as well as this one. I just thought, ew. Also, it's a different philosophy. These pens were made for the masses. This pen is pricey. Not Mont Blanc pricey, but pricey. Oops. Next comment. Is actually made as... Oh, we need one more. Okay, yep. Same thing I did. The price on these reborn ones is a bummer. They're not pursuing the same market. And, to be fair, I don't think that the mass market exists anymore for pens like this, whereas it did in the 50s or late 40s is when this pen came out. So, yeah, it changes. That's just how it is. So I'm going to come back up to my face now. Let's try to do this without hitting any buttons by accident. Hey, it's me upside down. Let's turn off the light here. There we go. Yeah, I do want to get a dollar pen at some point. That's on my list of things to collect because they did make some interesting pens. So you might have heard my home heating come on again. So fun fact, a couple of weeks ago, was it last week maybe? No, it's been longer than that. Anyway, I turned on my heat on a Thursday night evening. It came on. I'm like, this is why I turn it on early, because it was a cold night. And I used to be one of those, oh, I will not turn on the heat until at least November. But I've learned since then that no, you just try it out, make sure it's working. So I turned it on Thursday night. Everything was golden. I got up. No, it must have been Wednesday night. Yeah, it was a Wednesday night. I apologize. But anyway, I got up Thursday morning and it was cold in here. And I looked at the thermostat, saw it was set properly, but the temperature in the house was not right. So I thought, well, we'll figure it out tonight. That night, I turned it on. Nothing happened. So I went down. My furnace has a little error code. So there's an LED in it that blinks a certain pattern. And what it said is it just would not ignite, is when I translated the error code. So next day, I called the furnace people, and they actually were doing maintenance calls that day. So they just added me to the list, by the way, with a former student doing the maintenance call. So that could be embarrassing. I don't know. Have him see how I really live. But anyway, so he came and looked at it, and it needed a part, a gas nozzle. And of course, they don't have it locally because I live at the edge of the earth. So they had to order it, and it came in this week, and he installed it, and I now have heat again. During the interim, I did purchase a space heater. I was going to borrow one, but then as I thought about it, I thought, what if this happens and it's a lot colder? You don't want to burst any pipes. So I thought it'd be nice to have a space heater I could set up in the basement. Just, won't make the house very comfortable, but at least provide enough heat to keep pipes from bursting. So I decided I do need to own a space heater. So I guess that was good. Yeah, the student. Oh, Venus. For some reason, I thought it was Parker that bought them, but apparently I have that wrong. But anyway, so it was good to have heat again. And I guess I don't really need it right now. And tomorrow is going to be warm enough when school's out that I will not be running it. But, try it while it's still warm, because it's one thing to be a little uncomfortable because you get a few chilly days. It's quite another thing to be, oh my gosh, I don't want the pipes to freeze. So I found out in time that the furnace didn't work. I'm also now working on getting the oven fixed because that hasn't worked since August. And unlike the heat, it's not one of those things you think of until you want to bake something. You're like, oh yeah, I was going to get that fixed. But hopefully getting that fixed this coming week. So I'll be in shape for winter. Spending some money on repairs, but whatever. That's life. See, the drawback, I said I was going to have my house paid off. The drawback to being a homeowner is it's all my problem. Roof leaks, my problem. Oven doesn't work, my problem. Furnace doesn't work, my problem. Anything else breaks down, my problem. So that's a drawback to not renting. But on the other hand, I can do with it as I will. So yeah, there's good and bad in it. Okay, I thought I was right because I remember the word Venus, but I don't remember what it had to do with anything. Yeah, I thought Eversharp was bought by Parker because they kind of sold their low-cost pens using Eversharp. Oh, I'm confusing Esterbrook and Eversharp. That's my problem. Yes, Wall Eversharp was bought by Parker. Esterbrook was bought by somebody else because Esterbrook didn't make a go of it. Wall Eversharp, actually, I was looking at a couple of vintage Wall Eversharps because somebody was telling me that the ones with a little cantilever can be had at a decent price. I didn't find any in good shape, but I'll wait around. But yes, you're right. Eversharp. Sorry, those E's apparently confused me. But anyway, so I wrote. So that's my home heating on my list. I also wrote dash cams because somebody asked me on my video, my oh deer video, where I met up with a deer in downtown Amadon, North Dakota, a city of 25 people here in North Dakota, county seat of Slope County. Do you always record everywhere you go? Well, actually, yes, because that's part of why I bought a dash cam. Part of it is I thought it'd be fun to share roads, and I didn't mind using the iPad on roads where nobody's driving, but there's no way in hell I'm using them on roads that people are driving on. So dash cam made it possible to do that. But the other thing with the dash cam, I remember when I was a kid, I say kid, but 22, I was about to leave for North Dakota. I was within a few days of it. I stopped at the red light in my hometown, and when it turned green for me, I didn't go right away because I just had an instinct. And this car hit another car in they were at right angles. And the police asked me about what happened and, whether somebody ran the green light. And I just sat there going, I don't actually know. I was pretty sure they did, but not 100% sure. You put it on dash cam and it's pretty clear. There's a YouTube channel I watch sometimes just out of hate watch, but it's called Dashcam Nation. And what they do is they just show dash cam footage of accidents. A lot of them are people running red lights. Some of them are people, where you have two parallel lanes that are turning and somebody says, whoop, I want to be over in this one. They just go and knock you out of the way. Some of them are, whoops, the guy behind me didn't stop when I stopped. Some of them are horrifying, ice incidents and so on. It's just a lot of, some of it is bad driving. Some of it's bad driving on the part of the camera person. Some of it is aggressive driving. It's just interesting to watch. So he compiles about 10 minutes of it once or twice a week from all over the country. I guess people send it to him, but with a little bit of commentary. And it's interesting to read the comments under the video because sometimes there's a lot of, yeah, it really was your fault because maybe if you just would have eased off and let them into your lane, the accident wouldn't have happened. Those kind of things. So that's why I use a dash cam. 10,000 word pen. I own a Conklin word gauge. Oop, fly just flew by my face. I own a Conklin word gauge that supposedly meters out how many words you're writing. Yeah, the Skyline, I own a vintage one and a modern one, and the vintage one has an incredible nib on it. Yeah. Yes, you're right. That's the pen I'm talking about. Just an absolutely beautiful nib. So I thought I would just mention here at the end of this, because we're coming up on an hour, but I mentioned Hemingway Jones at the beginning, but during my talk with Hemingway Jones, I just to briefly mention that, I don't like to do things spontaneously. I like to plan. This live stream did not happen without not much of a plan, but a plan. I don't like to go places without knowing where I'm going to sleep. Hey, let's go to Fargo this weekend. Where are we going to sleep? I don't know. Let's see what motels are open when we get there. been there, done that. I took a class 1 year right after I got home from Pennsylvania. So I flew into Rapid City late at night. Thought, oh, I'll find a motel. I didn't. So I thought, well, I'll find a motel on the way. I didn't. By the time I got to Pierce, South Dakota, it was obscenely late at night. So I ended up sleeping out in the country somewhere off of Highway 83 north of Pierce, South Dakota. And had twice in the night, I just woke up in a panic and thought, you got to move, you got to move, you got to move. And I'd move somewhere else and park and sleep some more. And I just, the whole time I'd be in this, oh, are the police going to arrest me for sleeping at the side of the road? I don't know. Could something happen because I'm out in the country sleeping? I don't know. And don't recommend that. So ever since then, I've always, when I do a road trip or whatever, I always plan out ahead of time, this is where I'm going to sleep. And I make sure I reserve a room there. And it just works perfectly. So I like to plan. Oh, what's there? What can I do that day? What will I do that day? But at the same time, things happen. You get to somewhere and you discover, oh, there's this really cool museum, or there's this zip line that you can try, or, something amazing. And you think, going to do that. So when I say I like to plan, it's because having a plan gives me a structure so that if I decide to deviate from the plan, I'm okay. I can still know, oh, I've got a place to sleep, I've got a place to eat and all that figured out. And yeah, I won't do these other things that I plan to do, but whatever, I'll just do this other thing instead. So when I say I like to plan, it's because it makes it possible for me to be spontaneous. I didn't know all the things I talk about in this video. If you listen to it later, you're going to see a lot of off-topic stuff. But because I had a structure, it wasn't a lot of so yeah, I hate that. So and of course it helps. I have got a great audience that always is full of good comments. So yeah, David Anderson, too much aggression. So I didn't know what brake checking was until I started watching this channel. Apparently, one way of showing road rage is to pass you and then hit the brakes right away. And some of the videos involve doing that over and over, or people doing that to each other. I don't know, you're driving a multi-ton vehicle. Maybe don't do that. It just seems really dangerous to me. Yeah, I'm glad to have you. I'm sorry you're coming in at the end, but it is recorded. And I think this time I hit the right setting to have the comments show up. So I don't know why I grabbed this, but I just felt like it was appropriate to, since we were talking about Wall-Ever Sharp. This came with a modern Skyline that I bought many, many, many years ago. And I don't know why they felt like a car needs to be included with their pen, but I've got one. So what is this? A Corvette, I think. One of you car people can tell me. But anyway, it's been good to have you. I saw at our peak, we were at 37 views, which for this channel is pretty good. I know we'll get more as people catch the live stream afterwards. So I just really want to thank you for watching. I'm going to have to ask my parents. I know one time they said they tried to catch my live stream, and then I forget what happened. I must have changed the time on it or something. But anyway, I'm going to have to ask them if they've ever caught one of my live streams live ever since. So Alan Paris, yeah, that planning just gives you that structure that you can build spontaneity around. That's how I teach. I don't want to walk into the classroom and say, what are we going to do with you kids today? Because there's nothing worse than a classroom full of bored teenagers. Oops, wrong click. Hey, well, glad to have you, Simply Albs. I'm sorry you're tuning in right at the end of this live stream, but hopefully we'll see you again soon. And of course, you can catch the whole thing. And thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to have a good school week. So I just really want to thank everyone who tuned in and watched, and for all of those of you who tune in the future. I'm curious what you think of the intro with the driving. Like I said, I started that intro before my scheduled time just to give everybody a chance to join. And I don't know, curious what you all think. So let us know down in the comments. So thank you, Donna. I'm hoping to have a good week. It's going to be warm for a few days. I'm actually, maybe for the first time since I've lived in southwestern North Dakota, going to mow my lawn in October. It's going to be in the 70s tomorrow, and it's still growing because we had a wet summer. So, yeah. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. I will catch you again sometime in November. Not sure when. It kind of depends on my schedule as well as yours, so we'll see. And I'm glad to hear this Sunday thing works. Seems like a good time for me. And thank you, Manuel. Glad to have you here. And ODE, thank you. So I want to thank everybody for watching. And whoops, wrong button. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Now, how do I turn it off? We'll throw a few of these others in here. I just found the turn off button. I always forget where it is. Yes. Wet year, we had a lot of bugs. Still haven't ended it, though. I really need to end it. Well, you can catch it, the recorded version. So I'm going to click the button for real this time. So we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.